Now we're going to take a look at how do we style a navigation link without using a bunch of separate images. For our previous examples, we have this existing website, and what we want to do is we want to make our navigation bar have this links that be stylized. So I'm going to select a link and make sure it's selected in my tag selector. I'm going to go ahead and create a new CSS rule. Now right now I have a very complicated compound rule. I don't need all those complications. I'm going to make it a little less specific. And I don't need the vertical separation or the grid 2. But what I am looking for is this class of nav that is going to contain my anchor tags. If I just had anchor, the A tag, then it would apply to all anchor tags. I don't want that, so that's why I'm choosing it to also have a parent that is a class of .nav. This way we could have our navigation potentially in a couple different places if we needed to. Say OK. Now I'm going to apply a couple new rules. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my text decoration be none. Say apply, and you'll notice that my underline has gone away. I'm also going to set my color, so instead of having the default blue, I'm going to set it up so it's a nice bright yellow to slightly off white. I'm going to set my background color as being black. Hit apply. Now right now we notice a couple things. Number one, our height is off, and number two, our background color is only over the text. So I'm going to go to the block category, set display to be block, apply. Now I can see my background color is taking up the whole area within each of my containing divs. Now I'm going to set my align category, my text align, to be centered, apply. Under my type category, I could do some other things that are pretty standard, such as my font weight, making it bold, so it helps stand out a little bit, and increasing my font size so it's a little bit larger. I'm going to choose 1.1 ems. This is about 110% of my standard font size. Just to make it a little bit larger, I could even go a little bit bigger if I want to help even things out. Under my box category, I'm going to choose my padding. I give a top padding of about 3 pixels and a bottom padding of 0 pixels. Now this is going to make it so my text does not look centered in my navigation button. So what I'm going to do is under my border, I'm going to come here, and for my bottom border, I'm going to choose solid. My width is going to be 3 pixels, which is the difference between my top padding and my bottom padding. And my color right now is going to be black. Now my button looks that it is centered vertically in my navigation button area. I'm going to say OK. And now I'm going to create a new rule. So new rule. This is going to be very similar to my previous rule. So we're going to start with having a parent class as a .nav. And I have my anchor tag, but now I'm going to choose a pseudo selector, which is specified with a colon and then hover. This rule is going to be applied whenever my end user winds up putting their mouse cursor over one of my navigation links. I'm going to say OK. Now I'm only going to work on the things that change. So for example, one of the few things I might do is go to my border category and set the border color to be my yellow and say apply. I can say OK. Now if I go to live view, when I roll over this, you can see how it changes. A very simple change. Anything that I can change, I want to make sure I stay within inside of my grid container here, which is, if you remember back from previous examples, is a grid column of 2. If I make it any larger than that, I'll have a potential issue with going to a new line, which is going to cause my heights to be different. I want to avoid that. So often things like making something bold or italicized or a larger font's not a good idea. On all of my navigation links, I have plenty of extra room to my sides. So if I did want to make some sort of change that wasn't too drastic, I would be able to.